On July 8th, just a few weeks ago, a new US import rule went live that most small and medium-sized brands importing into the US either don't know or aren't ready for. It affects children's products, general consumer goods, footwear, apparel, toys, electronics, hundreds of product categories. And if your shipment hit US customs after that date without the right electronic filing, it can be held at the port. I've been working with clients directly on this, and the number of brands scrambling it right now is real. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to break down what changed, who's affected, how the filing actually works, and the mistakes I'm already seeing brands make. Hi, this is Ivan from Central Team, and today we've shipped over 10 million pairs of shoes globally. And on this channel, I share information and experience about sourcing and supply chain management in general. So if you're a brand owner who's looking to source your own products, or you're already sourcing your own products, especially footwear and children's products, then please subscribe. Thank you. Stick till the end as there's further information that I'm going to share in the video and tell you also where to look for it. So what is CPSC for those that may not have heard of them? They're the US Consumer Product Safety Commission, and they set and enforce product safety standards for consumer goods sold or imported into the US. For years, importers were legally required to have a certificate of compliance. So for example, a children's product certificate or CPC for kids items, or maybe a general certificate of conformity, GCC, for other goods. But normally you only needed to show it when asked. It sat in a filing cabinet. So on July 8th, this changed. You must now electronically file that certificate every time you import a regulated product, proactively at the moment of entry through US Customs ACE systems, which is their automated commercial environment. And this needs to happen before your goods can be cleared. This is a fundamental shift from having it ready to file it upfront. For most brands, that's a significant operational change. So think of it like this. Before, customs could ask you to show your driver's license at any time. Now you have to scan your license at the door every time you enter. Now, who does this mainly affect? So there's two types of certifications and two types of products that it will affect. One is a CPC, as we said before, Children's Product Certificate. And these mainly are for products that are primarily intended for children 12 and under. So these could include things like children's footwear, toys, clothing, bedding, car seats, school supplies, and personal care items for children. And normally, the CPC is based on third-party testing by a CPSC accredited lab. And there are normally over 15 different CPSC safety standards that can apply to that product depending on what that product is. And second is the GCC, the General Certificate of Conformity. And this is required for other regulated consumer products. So for things like adult apparel, certain footwear categories, furniture, electronics, sports, equipment, household items, and etc. The GCC can be self-certified, so there's no third-party lab required for most, but must reference the specific standard that the product complies with. So based on these changes, the scale of impact is over 600 HTS tariff scheduled items are now covered. So if you're importing and selling direct to US consumers, you're almost certainly affected. And this is not just for large importers. Small DTC brands shipping 50 to 100 units are also held to the same standard. The fastest way to know if you're covered, look up your product's HTS code and check it against the CPSC eFiling covered items list. I'll put the link in the description. If your code is on that list, then you must file. So how does filing actually work? Now, normally there are 7 data fields you must file with every covered shipment. There's a unique product identifier, the applicable CPSC safety standards, and the testing date and description, and certifier contact information, or the lab who issued the certificate. The name and address of manufacturer or private labeler, accredited third-party lab details, and URL or location where the full certificate can be accessed. So you'll need all of these when you're now filing for importing into the US. And there's 2 ways to file. One is called the PGA Message Set, where you transmit all 7 fields with every single shipment. Normally, this is handled through your customs broker or freight forwarder inside CBP's ACE system. system. So it's best for brands with few product types or irregular importers. The second is a reference PGA Message Set. So you pre-register your products in CPSC's product registry, and each future shipment just references the product's registry ID. Now, this is best for brands shipping the same products regularly. You file once and you can reference it many times. For most small brands starting out, full PGA is simpler to set up. If you're importing the same footwear SKUs every quarter, it's worth taking a day to set up the product registry. This is the issue sometimes that we see when clients come to us and ask about various factories or certificates. And the first issue is one of the most common is that you get a certificate, but it's not from an accredited institute. So a lot of times when you go to the factory, they will give you a certificate or some kind of testing report. Most of the time it's from their in-house lab unless you ask for it, and that doesn't work because it has to come from a CPSC accredited lab list that you can find on their website, and these are normally the big names if you've gone through and done certification before, such as SGS, Intertech, etc. So you can look at the list. But normally a random Chinese factory's lab isn't it. And we had a client have this issue before as they went to a factory and they did everything, they got a certificate, but it was from a in-house lab from the factory, and which didn't fit any of the e-filing. So that certificate was worthless for e-filing. So problem number two, one certificate normally doesn't cover multiple colorways. Your specific certificate needs to cover the exact product that you're importing. A CPC for a red sneaker size 5 doesn't automatically cover the same shoe in blue or size 12, especially if the materials and the construct is different. So brands with a wide SKU variant need to audit each variant. Problem number 3 that we see is sometimes your freight forwarder or your customs broker isn't ready yet. While most customs broker and freight forwarders can file PGA messages, but not all of them may have updated their systems, and some are still getting up to speed. So don't assume your forwarder is able to handle this without you giving them the certificate data first. They file what you provide. If you don't provide it, then the entry can't be processed. Now, problem number 4 that we might see is that your certification might be outdated. So while your product might be tested 3 years ago, depending on the specific type of product, it might need to be retested even though your product itself hasn't changed. So there are some products that maybe the regulation is you only need to test it once in, let's say, 3 years. But for things like children's shoes, which we do, it needs to be tested every year, even though it might be the same material, the same product itself, same color, some same size. So that's something you need to figure out is if the certificates are outdated. Even a different supplier for the same component may require retesting. So here's what you should do right now. First, step 1, you should identify your covered products. So go and check your HTS code against the CPSC e-filing covered product list and link in the description to know which of the imports require e-filing. Step 2, audit your existing certificates. Pull every CPC or GCC you have. For each one, check, is the lab accredited by CPSC? Is the certificate for the exact product that you're going to import? And is the certificate itself current? Step 3, you should call your customs broker today. Ask specifically if they're set up to file CPSC PGA message sets in ACE and get a confirmation. If they're not ready, you might need to find a broker who is. Step 4, fix the gaps before your next shipment. If your certificates aren't valid, you need to commission third-party testing before your goods get on the water, not at the port. Testing turnaround is typically 2 to 4 weeks for standard tests, so you need to plan beforehand. Step 5 is consider the product registry if you import regularly. Pre-registering your product saves time on every future entry. It takes a few hours to set up, pays off quickly for regular importers. The brands that are going to get hurt by this are the ones who assume their freight forwarder will sort it out, or that the factory test report is the same as an accredited certificate, which it isn't. Those are the 2 biggest traps. I've put together a quick CPSC e-filing audit checklist, the same one I'm using with clients right now. It's free in the description in the link. If your products are covered and you're not sure where you stand, download it and check. And if you want a proper compliance review of your import setup, my team at CT Global does exactly this. A link in the description. You can also find our contact info in the website. In 2 weeks, I'm covering the second big compliance change that just landed, the new executive order on importers of record. So if you use a freight forwarder as your IOR, or you don't have a real US entity set up, that video is going to be important for you. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you.